Well, and a lot of it for me has essentially just come from um, being in the trenches every day and
Yeah.
listening to people, and then listening to um, the common denominators of what people say, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then, so in my early life, and it's funny, like if we look at where life brings us and sort of the tools that life gives us as a result of an apprenticeship with life,
Hmm.
right? Um, just a second here. So when I first graduated high school, I went to cooking school and got my chef's papers.
Nice.
So that taught me how to cook, but um, time management more than anything, it taught me amazing time management, right?
Hmm.
Then I had a young family, and it's really hard to raise a young family on a cook's wage, right? So I left that and worked hard and got my apprenticeship as an automotive mechanic, and worked at that for, man, 10 years, 15 years. And at the same time, I was a firefighter for 18 years. So all of these different occupations or journeys in life have given a different skill set, right? Like the if I can contribute one big one from my years of firefighting, it would be being able to thrive in a moment of extreme pressure and stress, right? Because when you're at a tragic scene and there's a lot of not good things happening around you, and I was lucky to have some really good mentorship through those years.
Hmm.
And people are going to gravitate towards strength and calmness, right? So if I'm at a tragic automobile accident or a house fire or something that's just a brutal situation, right? If I'm coming across from a heightened sense and fear and anxiety as a leader, then the people around me, not only the people that are casualties of the crappy situation, but the people that are below me are going to pick on that, and they're going to kind of take it to the next level,
Hmm.
right? So I just learned through those years to take that deep breath and actually find a place to be at my absolute calmest place
Hmm.
in the most tragic of situations,
Hmm.
right? So now when I look at it, in business that I'm involved with, anybody that's in business can relate that the last 12 months have been some of the most tumultuous months that we've ever been through in our lives in business. Do I run around, jumping up and down, the sky's falling, the sky's falling, it's all coming to an end? No, because my staff would pick up on that. Everybody I'm surrounded with would pick up on that. And even though that I'm under probably more stress than I've ever been in my life, I got to bring it down and just be as evenly as possible. So, life has sort of given me this apprenticeship of of great times, going through tragic times, and then in my years of business and managing businesses and having my own businesses, just really kind of getting that understanding, right?
Hmm.
And then so in the last, I guess it's been 5 years that I've really been heavily in the health industry, and in the health supplement industry for that matter. When I got into this, I didn't have a clue, right? I just, through my years of doing all these things that I've done and, had other opportunities and stuff, I went to university and got a degree in human resource management. I got a degree in, as a certified executive coach. I was the youngest executive coach in North America, and done a lot of really cool things, right? So when I got into the marketing space, and then especially into the supplement space, I was as green can be, right? And when I first started with Silver, for instance, this is going back, once again, 5 or 6 years now, is I was brought in by a company to build their marketing for Silver. And nobody had ever marketed Silver really heavily mainstream before.
Yeah.
I didn't know the first thing about it, but we researched it, created a marketing program around it, and took it to market. And are you still okay for a couple more minutes?
Oh yeah, totally. No, I'm soaking it all in. I'm good.
So we were promoting that brand to Silver, and we just launched it. I didn't know the first thing about it other than what the doctors had taught me and the scientists had talked to me, and what the sort of the crash course of 6 months of building all that information had taught me. And I remember the very first day we started marketing this, and I got into the internet space, I guess it was 10 years ago, and have done some pretty cool things, and seen some huge wins created by people in the internet space, and been a part of a few of them. So anyways, started marketing Silver. The very first day, I remember looking into our customer management system on the back end. So whenever somebody places an order online, that order is captured, and the company and the customer service team and everybody can see that customer's information, right? That's how people are engaged with. So in the back of our system, we had this customer that was trying to buy, and it just kept on showing up as a decline, which means her credit card wasn't processing. So seeing 5 or 6 declines in the back end, I'm like, man, this person wants the product, right? Like, our messaging is relating to them. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to pick up the phone and phone this person. And I called, and it was a lady in her early 50s, and she was 8 weeks away from kidney transplants. And she was sick. And she's like, Doug, I've lived a healthy lifestyle. Like, I've done the best that I can do to be the best. She was the high school cheerleader. She had a number of kids, and she had a surgery which left her with sepsis, which was sort of what was causing the failure of her kidneys. She's like, Doug, I don't want to lose my kidneys. And I've tried everything. I've tried every medical procedure. I've tried everything natural. Like, I have tried everything. I've thrown hundreds of thousands of dollars at my condition to not, go through this. And she says, will this product help me? Then my first day, I'm like I said, I only know one thing. And I said, I'm always going to be honest, with people. I said, I don't know what this is going to do for you. I said, and I told her, I said, this is my first day doing this, and this is kind of who I am and what I am. I said, the only thing that I do know, that what's been told to me by the scientists, the doctors, and the research, because I don't want to make a healing, treating, or curing claim to somebody, especially, well, anybody, but when you're talking to somebody that's that far down the rabbit hole of having an issue.
Yeah.
So I said, the only thing I know is it can't hurt you. And I said, that's the only honest answer I can give you. I said, and she says, okay. She says, I want to try it. And so I tried processing her credit card. didn't work. We found out what the problem was later. It was, just a button that we didn't check when we were setting things up. But anyways, so I said to her, I said, I can't get your credit card to process. So I said, you know what? I said, our lack of being able to process your order shouldn't hold you up from being able to get the product. So I said, I'm going to send you 3 months worth of product. It's on me. Let's just see if this helps. I said, you've tried everything else. We know it's not going to hurt you. Let's just see. I said, I want to know for myself if it works too. So sent her 3 months worth of products. And each week I'd get a phone call or a text message or something from her, just kind of giving me how she was doing. And the first message I got was, hey, Doug, my fever broke. Like I'm feeling better. And then the next message was, hey, I got outside and I fed the animals today. Like I haven't done this for so long. Like I'm not couch bound. I'm not sick. And these messages kind of came sporadically, over the course of the next month or so. And I remember it was like week number 7. And I get this text message, and it said, Doug, period, we need to talk. And instantly I'm like, oh crap, like maybe it didn't work out so good. Like, so I call her, and she's just sobbing on the other end of the phone. She's like, Doug, she says, I just came out of my pre-op and they've canceled my surgery and given me a clean bill of health. And it was that moment that I realized that we were sitting on something pretty special, right? This age-old technology that had been around for thousands of years, that through modern science and really, really smart people had taken this older technology and turned it into something that nobody else had before, right? Which is what we use together today. And that's, that'll be a discussion for another time too. So over the last few years, that opened up the window for me to travel all around North America and literally talk to thousands upon thousands of people on their health concerns and their issues and their sicknesses, and just hearing those stories of pain, that come from people. And spent a lot of time working with women with yeast and candida and bacteria vaginosis problems, to skin conditions, to gut conditions, like kind of all of it. So I had this great opportunity, like I say, just to travel and be at different medical conferences and natural healing conferences and natural energy conferences and naturopathics, and just really kind of get into that homeopathic natural side of the health industry. And talking to people about the products, or just, I don't ever want to come across as a salesperson for something. I want to make sure that what we're doing is actually beneficial and helping somebody, right? And I just was fortunate enough to be placed in a position and grow with the product as the science grew with that product, to a point where I've seen thousands and thousands of lives positively impacted, right? To a point where not one person has ever told me that this didn't work for them. So do I believe? Yeah. And do I believe in natural healing? Totally, because I've experienced it. It hasn't been so and so told me that they feel better, or like everything I've got is firsthand. People sending me pictures of their hands and their arms that are just covered in rashes, and they don't know what to do. They've tried everything. And unfortunately, I'm not allowed to talk about this stuff, right? Because I could be healing, treating, or curing something. but I'm just speaking from the heart here for a minute, right? I've seen those people that have been suffering from those issues for years and years and years, and it's held their lives back, to sending me pictures a week or two later going, look at, I'm clear, right? I remember, sorry if I'm rambling here.
Oh no, I love this stuff. We're talking testimonials. I
Well,
live.
I remember being in Alabama 2 years ago, and we spoke to this group of, I think it was like 150 or 200 women, and they'd all packed into this restaurant, and me and my partner were the only two males in the whole room, and it was a little intimidating at first. And we were in Huntsville, Alabama, or sorry, no, flew into Huntsville. We did the presentation in Muscle Shoals. I was excited to be in Muscle Shoals because that was like Music Central. But so we did this presentation to this large audience of women, and just talking to them about their lady parts and yeast and bacteria. And I was probably redder during that whole thing than my wall behind me, but it was fun. And so we did the presentation for about an hour, and just talking to them. And then afterwards, we would always stick around at any presentation we did until the last person had their question answered, right? And sometimes we'd present for an hour and stay for 4.
Wow.
Because we wanted to make sure that everybody that attended went home with their question answered, right? So I remember, and we were doing this like mingle thing afterwards, so people could just have a little bit more intimate time of asking their questions. But I was standing around this group of like 5 women, and the biggest, burliest, toughest woman that I'd ever seen in my life. Like, I'm a big guy, I'm 6'3" and larger than most people, right? This lady, she was the friendly giant. Like, she was just huge. And she comes up to me and she says, Doug, my friend, she hasn't been able to have sex for 3 years. And she started to tell me all of this information about her friends' lady parts that I'm just not going to repeat here. So I looked at her and I said, so you've been suffering from this problem for a number of years, eh? And like, she just went white, because it wasn't her friend. She just wanted to third party or third person. It's always easier when it's your friend. So, here's a big, tough lady that had the world in her hands, was suffering from the most intimate problem that affects 80% of women out there nowadays. Like, this isn't just a problem that was hers. I've thousands and thousands of women I've talked to about the effects of having lady parts, right? Cool, damp, warm, moist area that
Delicate balance.
does this all the time. So anyways, talked to this lady, had her try product, and I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks later, and she phoned me, and like I say, here's a big, tough, strong person, and just brought down from here to here, if you know what I'm saying. And she says, Doug, she says, I didn't believe a thing you told me when you spoke. I thought you guys were selling snake oil, and everything you were throwing at me was BS. But my friends were trying it, and we were all in sort of the group, and I figured, what the heck. She says, I just had sex with my husband for the first time in 3 years last night, and I'm feeling rejuvenated. I'm feeling natural. And I can tell you stories like this all day long. And it just brings you to a whole other level when you get to be a part of that in somebody's lives, right? And you create a friendship and you create a bond with those people that can't be broken, right? And so to be a part of that, and in what we're doing here, yeah, I'm no medical expert, and I don't want to profess to be at all, or lead somebody down the wrong road, or give somebody improper information. But I will share what I've seen. I will share the truth. And I honestly do want to make a difference in somebody's lives, right? So kind of bringing that back home into where I was going with this is, in the thousands of people I've been in front of or spoken to or had intimate discussions with, the mechanical mind, the curiosity mind, the coach mind, the firefighter mind in me is always trying to figure out what makes something work, right? Like, what's that cause and effect, right? What created this? So as I was having those conversations with people, to me, it was just stacking up cause and effect, right? And I don't read diet books. I don't read health books. I don't read any of that kind of stuff. Like, it's just not me. So I'm not going to pretend to be that person that I'm not, right? Because I'm just not going to be authentic if I do. But it was listening to the common denominators with people that essentially led me to this discovery of why you and I have come together and why we're here today, right? And that's the diet, that's the lifestyle, it's all of these things that people write books about, but we're living, breathing, sleeping, living it every day in what we're doing, right? So the discussions that you and I are going to be having going forward, and the information that we're going to be bringing to people, isn't something that we learned in a textbook, or we're not going to regurgitate Dr. So-and-so's information that we read in a book and we think it's going to be viable for an audience to watch. Anybody can do that. I want to just bring it home, and bring it home simply, as stupidly as I may sound at times, but just be able to really, truly just be authentic in who we are and what we're bringing to people, based on what we're learning, not what we're reading or what we're digesting on somebody else's YouTube channel or their Facebook show or whatever it is. This is what we're learning as we go through our process, and hopefully people will want to join us for this journey, and hopefully what we're saying speaks to somebody's heart, that this helps inspire them to be a part of this.
Wow. That's powerful. It's all about the application in people's lives, right? You can just read books, you can reiterate stuff, but if you're not applying it and seeing the examples, what's it all for? I'm guilty of being the person that reads all the books and does, but I still do all the things. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just so powerful. And that really just shows our heart here. Like, we are ready to just collaborate with everybody here. Like, we're on this journey together. We're making a case for health. That is just finding those common denominators and presenting them simply and stupidly, as Doug said. So that'll be our motto.
Well, it's just keep it real.
Yeah.
Right. And I got a bazillion books over here. I got books sent to me all the time, and I don't know, I don't like reading. It's just a simple, It's
Well,
not that I don't find it
I'm the
interesting. I just,
reader, and you're the one with all the testimonies and common denominators of anecdotal data from people's personal stories, and I read all the books and have my husband's story. So
right.
it's a good balance.
Yeah.